Hey friends, the last time Iron Banner was around, we had the Fortress game mode, and I taught y'all how to win against your better judgment. In today's video, I'll be doing the same, but for the Eruption game mode, which in my opinion is arguably worse than Fortress, and quite possibly the worst game mode ever introduced to Destiny. Just saying that is going to trigger someone out there because it's somebody's favorite game mode, people play it, why else would Bungie bring it back? And then someone else in the comment section is already typing it up. Cam, you only hate Eruption because you can't win as much because of SBMM. Oh, skill-based matchmaking. That discussion that I'm probably not going to go into in this video. All I'm going to say is I warned y'all. Last time Eruption was around, it was connection-based matchmaking, and good players reported that they loved the game mode. And I made sure to be clear and say, I don't think you like the game mode, I think you like the connection-based matchmaking. This game mode is quite possibly the worst they've ever added, and here's why. It's like the Mayhem game mode, except worse than that, it's Punishment Mayhem. By getting 5 assists, you are wall-hacked by the enemy team in exchange for your team getting more abilities and faster super. You're supposed to use those abilities to snowball the enemy team and beat them before they have a chance to use their own supers. But in reality, what happens because of SBMM is I queue up, then I have 5 teammates that apparently have never played the game before against supposedly 5 competent opponents. How do I know? I'm not sure, because every time I see them, they're either in a super, or they throw every ability and the kitchen sink at me. And you would think that the wall hack would be helpful for taking them out, but when 6 players see my name tag and immediately pop a super, the wall hack isn't really doing much for me. And on the flip side, if I have a very specific loadout for taking out supers, and I happen to get a kill streak, well then I'm wall hacked and there's 6 competent players pre-aiming me through the wall, let alone also using Wish Ender. On one hand, I understand the desire to win at any game mode, but on the other hand, this is very clearly a party playlist, and players, because of SBMM, really want to win the game no matter what. I initially, at the beginning of the week, took this as an opportunity to use some goofy stuff and work on my aim a little bit and that type of thing. But when I constantly get teammates that don't do anything and might as well leave the match for me to have a better chance of winning at it, I took an all or nothing approach to this game mode. It's either I'm doing nothing and AFKing the game mode just like my teammates, or I'm doing all the things I can possibly do to win, including breaking every gentleman's agreement, getting scrub mentality out of my head, gathering the Avengers, calling out, all of it. Oh, and I know someone's already typing it up. It's cringe to put in that much effort. Well, I don't want to be here. I don't want to play this game mode. But I do want the loot. The loot that you insist I have to pull this slot machine lever for with no bad luck protection because you hate crafting or something like that. So to summarize, this is obviously a party mode, but nobody seems to be treating it like one. Especially in SBMM, where I see the worst parts of the sandbox, and there's nothing I can do to leverage my skill to use anything I consider fun. And if I do play to win, it's also some of the most boring gameplay possible because of compression of the skill gap, as well as a very obvious method to win, which, if this is what you clicked on the video for, this is where I finally get to that. If against your better judgment, you want to win at this game mode, well, I'm gonna teach you. Step 1, just like Fortress and just like every game mode in this game, bubble and well. That is the first thing you ask for when you're building a team of 6. And yes, you're building a team of 6, and before you say, I don't have any friends, hear me out. Sword logic approach, just like the Hive. What you're going to do is you're going to play this game mode to win, make it miserable for everyone else, and anytime you see someone on the enemy team who is also very good at doing that type of thing, you're going to shoot them a message and an invite saying, party up, ? And they're probably going to say yes, because trust me, they don't want to be here either. Now that you got a team of 6, talk to your team of 6 and decide on a better team composition. In my opinion, you start with having bubbles and wells, and you dedicate one Dawn Blade to floating with the scout rifle because it accomplishes a variety of things. Number 1, it puts pressure on the opponent's spawn, giving you unique angles to spawn kill. It makes the opponents all look up, which means they typically don't pre-aim. If you're wall hacked, you're just gonna jump off the map or something because you're the only player on the team that really doesn't need to be wall hacked at all. All you have to do is float an off angle, hit somebody with the scout once or twice, and then have your teammate clean it up. In this play session, that was my job, and I brought a variety of weapons to handle all the situations that come up, like fighting other wells and fighting other bubbles. I kept Sweet Business for the bubbles, and I kept Quicksilver Storm for the wells. I rotated double primaries, so I always had the perfect weapon for the engagement distance, and I third-person peek people. On maps where it's not possible to float because of low ceilings, or it's not really optimal to do so, I would pivot to playing Shadebinder and also invite other people to exclusively play Shadebinder, and the reason you do this is to throw turrets across the map so that the turrets can possibly pick up a assist, which then equals a streak, which then equals more abilities and more super. And when the Shadebinder gets the super, don't actually finish the kill. Instead, just freeze the opponent or freeze them multiple times and let your teammates get the kill so they're guaranteed the assist. And you can also freeze somebody, sit behind cover, and your streak gets extended when your teammates get the kill. So then you keep throwing turrets into the spawn where you just cleared it out, and then go move to the other spawn and clear them out again. Then you put turrets there, rinse, and repeat. If unfortunately you're a hunter main, well, you're in luck. Just use a bow and throw threadlings at people. It accomplishes something very similar to the turrets, I just think a little bit weaker for organized play, although it is still incredibly strong. As for Titans, there's a couple options. There's of course Peacekeepers with Teraba to go on streaks. For a more supported playstyle, you can use Crest of Alpha Lupi with the Overshield Barricade, and since you're constantly getting your abilities back, you will have the full team heal and full team overshield very, very repeatedly, and also make an extra Orb of Light. For any bubble player, try to put your bubble in the middle of the map so your entire team can walk through it and get weapons of light, and try to play your life. In fact, if you're on a streak and have a bubble, instead of going into the enemy spawn and getting more kills, ricochet around yourself or jump off the map or something, then spawn up, go to the middle of the map, drop the bubble, and have your entire team use it. Same for the well players. Now you could go Peregrine Greaves to kill bubbles better, but you could also just use Conditional Finality in a different exotic entirely, so that's really up to you. Okay, now you have a team of 6, and you have optimal setups, so now, no morality, no scrub mentality, third person peek, call out, be coordinated, make the match as fast as possible because none of you want to be here. If you're lucky, you'll make the environment so unfun, your opponent doesn't want to be here either, and they just give up and don't even want the loot. They'll just leave the match, end it 5 minutes quicker. And the worst part about all of this is that in a team of 6, matchmaking takes forever if you're all high skill. It expands so much that you actually start playing noobs again, which means that the noobs have a terrible time, and instead of reporting that they love this game mode, they're going to report that they hate this game mode, and maybe it gets changed and never comes back. But of course, I'm not suggesting that this mode doesn't have a place in Destiny. It absolutely does. It just shouldn't have great loot tied behind it. It should be an optional, casual, party mode, just like Mayhem is. So now you're probably wondering, do I feel bad about doing this? I absolutely do. I thought I was going to get the most heinous hate mail I have ever seen, but surprisingly, I got some very wholesome messages and some nice things said, which surprised the hell out of me. So, wow, y'all are super nice. I appreciate that. Might be. And for those of you worried that other win teams might start playing this game mode and making it unfun for everybody, remember to not hate the player, hate the game that they have to play. For closing notes on this video, I hope that in future Iron Banners they bring more competitive game modes than this like wacky fun. It's not going to work with SBMM. So if it's going to be party game modes, it has to be connection-based matchmaking at the very least. Or I hope maybe they just do a Vanguard Strike Iron Banner. I know that doesn't make much sense, but at least I don't feel like I'm ruining other players' time. Another solution would be to have the checkmate modifier be more normalized across the entire game so that game modes like this are less annoying. I hope you enjoyed my rant today, and be respectful in the comment section, even though I was totally in this gameplay. I wish you great luck with whatever you wanted from the Iron Banner loot pool. Unless, of course, you like the RNG system and wish it was worse across the game, then I hope you never get what you're looking for.